In the skies over Europe, there was a German nickname for this aircraft: Der fliegende Panzerschrank, the flying strongbox. It was a 7-ton monster built around the biggest engine the Allies could find. It wasn't the most graceful, but it was the toughest. It was the plane that could get shot to ribbons, lose cylinders, and still have the brute force to bring its pilot home. This was the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, and it was about to go head-to-head with Germany's most feared dogfighter, the Focke-Wulf Fw, the butcher bird. This is the story of the brawler versus the boxer, and how American toughness proved to be the ultimate weapon. The Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, affectionately nicknamed the Jug for its milk jug shape, was an absolute behemoth. Weighing over 10,000 pounds empty, it was the heaviest single-engine fighter of the war. Its design philosophy was pure American muscle. Build a fighter around the most powerful engine available, the Pratt & Whitney R2800 Double Wasp, and give it an advanced turbo-supercharger system to dominate at high altitude. Its opponent was the Focke-Wulf Fw. When it first appeared in 1941, it sent a shockwave through the Allied air forces. Powered by its own brawny radial engine, the WWII, the Butcher Bird was a thoroughbred dogfighter. It was fast, heavily armed, and possessed a phenomenal roll rate that could outmaneuver almost anything in the sky. It was the workhorse of the Luftwaffe, a pure interceptor designed to inflict maximum damage in a short amount of time. To break down this clash of titans, we'll analyze them across 4 critical categories: firepower, high-altitude performance, low-altitude maneuverability, and the category where the war was truly won: survivability and ground attack. The Thunderbolt's firepower was legendary. It carried 8.50 caliber M2 Browning machine guns, 4 in each wing. This gave it a weight of fire of over 100 rounds per second. It didn't have the explosive power of cannons, but it fired a dense, accurate, high-velocity stream of lead that could shred enemy fighters and, as we'll see later, devastate ground targets. With over 400 rounds per gun, it could sustain this fire for a considerable time. The FW-190, designed as a bomber killer, carried a much heavier punch. The standard A8 model was armed with 4 20mm cannons and 2 13mm machine guns. Its cannons fired high-explosive shells that could tear huge holes in aircraft. According to Luftwaffe combat reports, just a few well-placed cannon shells were enough to bring down a B-17. However, its cannons had a lower velocity and a more limited ammunition supply, making long, drawn-out engagements difficult. This category is a tie. The FW-190 had the definitive knockout punch, perfect for its interceptor role. The P-47 had the sustained, relentless firepower of a heavyweight boxer, perfect for dogfighting and strafing. Each was armed perfectly for its ultimate mission. Here, American ingenuity gave the P-47 a decisive edge. The Thunderbolt was equipped with a sophisticated General Electric turbo-supercharger. This complex system used exhaust gases to spin a turbine, compressing the thin, cold air at high altitude before feeding it to the engine. As documented in USAAF flight tests, this allowed the P-47 to maintain its horsepower well above 25,000 feet. It was a high-altitude monster. The FW-190's BMW 801 engine was a masterpiece of German engineering, but its supercharger was a simpler, mechanically driven, single-stage system. It was highly effective at low and medium altitudes, but its performance would taper off dramatically in the thin air above 20,000 feet. This meant that German pilots trying to intercept high-flying American bombers were often fighting at the absolute limit of their aircraft's performance, while the P-47 was still in its element. In the high-altitude arena where bomber escort missions were decided, the Thunderbolt's advanced technology was unbeatable. This category is a clear victory for the P-47. Down on the deck, however, the Butcher Bird lived up to its name. The FW-190 was widely regarded by both Allied and Axis pilots as one of the finest dogfighters of the war at low to medium altitudes. Its key advantage was a phenomenal rate of roll. As confirmed by post-war Allied test pilots, it could snap from a left bank to a right bank almost instantaneously, allowing it to change direction and get its guns on target with shocking speed. The P-47, being a much larger and heavier aircraft, simply could not match this agility. While it was surprisingly maneuverable for its size, especially at high speeds, it couldn't live with an FW-190 in a low-altitude turning fight. American pilots were famously briefed to avoid these kinds of engagements, instead using the P-47's superior dive speed to break off combat, and then use its powerful engine to climb back up to a position of advantage. In a classic swirling dogfight below 15,000 feet, the FW-190 was the superior machine. For low-altitude maneuverability, the Butcher Bird takes the win. And now, we come to the category that defines the Thunderbolt's legend and its ultimate strategic impact. The P-47 was, without question, the toughest single-engine fighter of the war. Its massive air-cooled radial engine could absorb an incredible amount of damage and still keep running. Unlike liquid-cooled engines, a single lucky shot couldn't drain its coolant and cause the engine to seize. The pilot was also protected by extensive armor plating and bulletproof glass. This legendary toughness made it the perfect platform for the most dangerous job of all: ground attack. After the P-51 Mustang took over the primary long-range escort role, the P-47 was unleashed as a jawbo, or fighter bomber. It could carry a staggering 2,500 pounds of bombs, half the payload of a B-25 medium bomber, or 10 5-inch rockets. During the breakout from Normandy, Operation Cobra, entire squadrons of P-47s systematically annihilated German tank and supply columns, acting as a form of aerial artillery and paving the way for Patton's Third Army. The FW-190 also evolved into a capable fighter bomber, but it could not match the P-47's payload or its sheer ability to absorb ground fire and return to base. For its unparalleled survivability and its devastating impact as a ground attack weapon, this category is an overwhelming victory for the Thunderbolt. So, which aircraft wins the breakdown? The Focke-Wulf FW-190 was a masterpiece of German engineering, a purebred dogfighter that was the master of medium-altitude combat. It was a deadly interceptor that commanded respect from every Allied pilot who faced it. But the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt was the superior strategic weapon of war. While it was a formidable high-altitude fighter, its true genius was its incredible versatility and its refusal to die. It was the aircraft that could not only win a dogfight at 30,000 feet, but could then dive to treetop level, shrug off enemy fire, and destroy a column of tanks with rockets and bombs. The Butcher Bird was designed to defend Germany. The Juggernaut was designed to tear it apart. What do you think? In a one-on-one fight, would you take the agile FW-190 or the tough-as-nails P-47? Let us know your choice in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.